Hello, welcome to the Resources Roadhouse. I'm Wally Graham. I'm in Singapore. I'm at the Tribeca Future Facing Commodities Conference, and I've just had the pleasure of meeting Ray Mountfort of Foresta. Now, Ray, before we came on air, you were going to great pains to explain to me what it is you're doing. You've got to remember you're talking to me, so you've got to speak slowly. But, okay, so you're taking a waste product and turning it into a new energy source. Is that right?
That's right. When we use the pine trees out of New Zealand, and we take the chemicals out of them first, and then with the waste product that's generated, which is the spent wood, we compress that, and then we cook it, and we turn it into what's called a torrefied wood pellet or a black pellet, which is an energy source for it's a drop-in replacement for coal. And we've actually contracted the entire first factory out to New Zealand's largest coal distributor, and that's going into all sorts of industry like the milk dairy companies, different things like dry cleaners, sawmills. Anyone that's using coal currently, they can use this as a direct replacement, and it's very important in New Zealand because it's for decarbonising, but New Zealand's actually outlawed coal from 2037, so we need to find alternative replacements.
Yep.
And I think the key thing that really has got the customers engaged with this project is that they don't have to go and build high capex, like build a new burner or a new boiler or a new generator source, by being able to put this directly in as a replacement to coal. Whereas if, say, you're going to gas, you've got to get gas. If you're going to a wood pellet, a straight wood pellet, it can't be stored outside. You have to have internal storage, whereas this can be stored outside just like coal, can get loaded just like coal, and burns just like coal. In fact, it's got a lower moisture content than coal.
Right. And you sort of preempted my next question there, because what I was thinking was, okay, so you don't have to make any adjustments to the coal-powered plant.
Yep.
You just drop this straight in, and it does the same job.
That's exactly it. In the trial that New Zealand's coal generator Power Co did with 2,000 tonne of this, the main change that they had to make was actually the distribution. Just a distributor feeding into the burner, because our pellets are so uniform, and the wood pellet is all the same size, same density, all of that, whereas coal, it gets broken up in different sizes and chunks, so it would go in and fall in different places. It's just so uniform, it just built a pile. So they just had to make a change so that they could, and that was the only change.
All right, so obviously my next question will be emissions-wise. So compared to coal, you've got the pellets. What's the difference?
So again, I'll quote Genesis because it's public. We've had our own internal engineers, or not internal, they're third parties, but Genesis have publicly stated that it was a 90% reduction, in excess of a 90% reduction in emissions. So this is incredibly important technology for not just New Zealand, but for the world going forward, in being able to use renewable, where we can actually suck the carbon out of the atmosphere using plants, and then utilise those plants, get the important chemicals out of them as well, which, by the way, most of those chemicals sit in the petrochemical market as well, as a direct replacement, and then replant those trees. And that's a key premise of ourselves, of course, is we must have on any supplier, the forest must be replanted, and they've been doing that in New Zealand for since the 1930s on 1.7 million hectares, around 33 million tonne per year of trees that are not 33 million tonne, yes, 33 million tonne harvested, and then of course we replant every year, and just farmed just like any farm, whether it be a food farm, rice farm, anything like that.
Yeah. And as I was saying before, it's a waste product, because the industry you're talking about with the pine tree, as you were alluding to just then, it's been used for a long time to get all these other chemicals out, but now you've actually found a way to use this the last bit of it.
The last bit of it's just getting the maximising the value out of the tree. Not only, I would add to that, we actually take the stumps and the tops of the trees as well. So when we go into a customer, a supplier, we look to contract the whole forest, and so they're actually getting about 20% more volume off their forest, and they get paid by the tonne. So you're actually adding 20% to the forest owner as well. And I think when you're just exporting those just the stems, those are quite marginal investments. And so I think that what we can see is that forest owners are going to love us.
Yeah, and these are like regenerated forests, are they? They're not old growth ones, or
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're not native. New Zealand doesn't have a native pine. Well, we do, but not. It's not technically a pine.
Right.
And so these are what's called radiata pine predominantly, which are plantation forests. And so they run on a 30-year rotation. Every year, 1/30 of the forest gets cut, and every year, 1/30 of the forest gets replanted. And it's very sustainable.
All right. Well, it sounds very interesting. Ray, very interesting story. Thank you very much for your time. A new one and a different one for the Roadhouse, but one that we really do want to keep a track on. So make sure you stay in touch.
Yeah, thanks very much. It's great.